Just ate a rat. Look at that bulge in its stomach right there. Well, hello everybody, Ant-Man here. Got a pretty cool episode lined up for you. Getting out there a little bit earlier than I usually do. I'm usually out there probably right at dusk or as the sun's already down, but I got out there a little bit earlier for this evening's hunting, and it turned out to be a pretty good evening. There's going to be lots of really cool natives, a nice variety, and of course there's going to be some python action in the mix. So I'm out there with Dad, and I'm doing what I normally do, which is shining down at the base of the levee where these pythons kind of come out and patrol along the bottom there, foraging for rats and other mammals. So anyway, it should be pretty fun, so sit back and let's see what happens. There's a little Peninsula ribbon snake right here, and a deer fly. But this is a young snake, probably a yearling. They get up to about 3 feet long. I guess the average probably around 2.5, but these are found throughout South and Central Florida and North Florida too. And they change to the eastern ribbon as you move way north, but look at that little attitude on that guy. That's funny. Oh yeah, you're a feisty one, are you? Yes, you're so intimidating. Well, we're gonna let this cute little guy go on his way, get him off the road and get him away from the traffic, which is always coming out here with the python hunters. These things are highly arboreal too. It's quite often to see them in trees, so we'll let him go about his day. All right. Second little native of tonight. There we go. Come here, little guy. All right. So this is a green water snake. Mean little things for the most part. This guy was out foraging, probably looking for frogs or things of such nature on the levee, but they stink terribly, so we're gonna send it on its way before I stink up my hand too much. But get a look at him. Hey there, buddy. All right, you go do your thing. Oh, now he wants to charge off with me. All right, go on, little whippersnapper, you. All right, buddy. Earlier we had a green water snake. This is a brown water snake, equally as nasty. I'm gonna just gently take this guy over here and get it off the road, away from that noisy car with a fan clutch engaging. You can see how people mistake these for cottonmouths. They're kind of dark and they flatten their heads out like most snakes do and try to look threatening, but we're gonna send the snake down on its way where it was heading, which was heading that way. All right, there, little brown water snake. Have a nice night. Go. There we go. All right. Look at this little tiny Burmese. This is a really, really small snake for this time of year. Hanging out by the Corona beer. This is a small snake. Very small snake. Look at that big meal in it. So that's why it's out on this edge. It just ate a rat. Look at that bulge in its stomach right there. Yep, that's the sign of rat in the stomach. So, and it's also the size. Look at that pile of feces that it was kind enough to leave on my finger. So yeah, you can see the bulge in that snake right there. And grab it like this. If you look along this edge right here, the rats patrol along here, and the snakes will go along accordingly and ambush these rats. So that's undoubtedly what this little guy was doing. He's a very young snake. This is a yearling, but we're coming up on the time when the hatchlings are about to pop. So this snake is almost 1 year old, and it's probably only 3.5 feet. So it's a pretty small sized python. But any python removed out of the wild is good. So I'm going to go ahead and bag and tag this snake, and we're going to. This snake won't. Oh, it's trying to regurgitate. Hold that bag, Dad. Let's do this real quick before the snake throws up. It's starting to regurgitate this rat that it just ate. Okay, get that out of there before it vomits. Okay, we'll go right here. Got ourselves an eastern mud snake down here. Calm down there, little buddy. These little things never bite. So let's see the belly on this one. This one's got a little bit of red left. When they're young, the bellies are more of a bright red. As they age, it'll turn to a pink. So this is a young adult right here. They do get much larger than this. Back in the old days, I used to see these things up to 5 feet long. This one right here is probably about 2.5 feet. But these things feed mainly on sirens and amphiumas. They're amphibian eaters. And they used to be extremely common here in the Everglades. Now they've, over the years, with water levels and herbicides and all these kind of things that have manipulated the ecosystem, they're still common, but they're nothing like they were. It was no big deal to see 6 a night, even a dozen a night back in the old days, meaning the 80s and 90s. But anymore, you don't see them all that often. This time of year, early summer, late spring, it's not uncommon to see one every night. But these are beautiful, beautiful little animals. So we're going to take this little guy and let's see if it is a little guy. It is. Oh yeah, it's a male. Very obviously. We're going to take this little male and we're going to send him back on his way. Look at the size of this scarlet snake. Ooh, that's a beautiful snake right there. Big adult Florida scarlet snake. And you'll see that unlike scarlet king snakes that the bands go around the body, these are actually blotches. The bellies on these are white. But this is a beautiful snake. This is, for South Florida, this is a pretty big one. In North Florida, the northern scarlet snakes get quite large, up to 3 feet, much bigger than this one. But for South Florida, this is a pretty good size adult. And it is another male, just like the mud snake that we just saw a few minutes ago. But these things feed primarily on reptile eggs, so lizard eggs and snake eggs, mainly lizard eggs. But they'll forage along in the leaf litter and such, and they'll look for little skink eggs and things like that, and that's their main source of food. So we're going to go ahead and take this little boy and send him back on his way and let him have a nice night. All right. Well, this evening's episode was a pretty good representation of what it's like to be out there on a given night in the Everglades. I know everybody wants to see a 17-foot python biting me in the face or something pretty much every episode, but such is not the case. You pretty much do catch pythons every day or every night that you go out. So that's always kind of a given, but it's most enjoyable to see all these native snakes. And on this particular night, there was a good variety of species, a lot of colorful species. The levees and stuff were very active with snakes moving. I don't film all of them. I just, kind of keep a representation of one of each species to document for everyone to see. But either way, it was great to get out there and, of course, catch a little python along the way. This one had eaten a rat, which is a pretty common thing to find them out doing in these areas where they are foraging along the edge like that, looking for rodents and such. But I think the highlight of the night for me was probably this really nice mud snake that I had found. It's a snake that used to be, as I said, very, very common in the Everglades, and you just don't see them too much anymore for a myriad of reasons. But they're a welcome sight, and they're a really, really cool species, so I always enjoy spending a few moments with them. But as I always say, I hope you enjoyed the episode. Thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Hope to see you all out there in the Everglades. Take care and stay safe. Later on.